Schoolwork is where you are going to give online quizzes and tests, simple assignments. You can also create polls, surveys, and different types. I'm going to jump over here real quick and show you Assign to You, which is what you would see as a student. You can kind of see the student's point of view to start with. You see the name of the test and the group that assigned it to me. You see when it is due, if it's already happened or if it's coming up. You see if I've submitted it past due. You can see grade. I do have a few in here that do the grades. And then you can see the type of assignment it is. This button here with the white line through it allows you to hide an assignment. It doesn't go away, it doesn't delete it. But if you've got some students that need just what is due today or due this week, they can hide everything that's already come in. You can see that I have 2 things due this week and that I have nothing due today. The students can also, where they can search if they know the name. And then, of course, they can filter by what just needs to be submitted, what is hidden, and what has been missed. So they have those options as a student to do that. Let me go back to Schoolwork, and I'll show you some of the different things. Hidden is just to keep it off of the student's view at that time. It's kind of just to keep them more organized. If they don't want every assignment, you've got some students that can't handle that clutter, and so it allows them to clean it up where it's just got those few assignments that are due, and so it just makes it easier for them. To add new schoolwork, you just click on the plus sign here, and we'll show you how to walk through it. You have this question mark that will explain the different types of assignments and quizzes. You've got assignment and a quiz. These two are available to be graded. The assessment, practice quiz, survey, and poll are all non-graded. And then simple assignment does not require a question. It is something like you would start your class with, or if you want them to upload something, you can just say upload, or I want you to, you can put a picture out there and say, write me 5 sentences about this picture. Anything you use for your bell opener would be a good thing to use for simple assignment. We do not have clicker options, but I will show you a feature that we do have. You select whatever type it's going to be. You do have to put a title in here. I'm just going to put practice so I'll know to go back and delete this later. You can put a description. This is over chapter 1. And then you can see here, I can attach a file, a quick link, a library item, something from my stuff, a document, or a bundle. So you have all those options. You will see this in a lot of places. I save and continue, and then I can go into my questions. This has just been revamped, and so we have a lot of new options that we didn't used to have. We used to have just multiple choice and true, false. Now you can see that we have essay, multiple choice, multiple select, true, false, fill in the blank, file upload, and then you also have this last option of essay or file upload, where they could fill it out there in the little box, or they could have the option of uploading a file, whichever is easier for the student to do. So you can give them that option. But if I'm going to go in here, and it does work with ExamView, and I'll show you that in just a second. That's the only program that it does work with. Right now we do not have a matching feature, which you do have in ExamView, so those questions will not import, but everything else will export if you can, and I'll show you that in just a second. Let me select a multiple choice question, and we're just going to go just real quick here. What is today? And then you come down here, you can change the score. You can make this worth how many ever points you want it to be. If I want it to be worth 10 points, and then I can add my questions or my answers. Monday, Tuesday, and then I can add more Thursday, Friday, and then of course pick your correct answer, and then click add. and it adds that question in to it. I can go in and add more and more questions. You can see that I can add my standards here. In New Mexico, I don't know if you're using your state standards or your Common Core, but we have them both here for your English, social studies, math, and science. So I can add a standard here if I want to add a standard to just that one question, or I can add it to each question that I want to. You can see I can select my state here, or I can select my Common Core standards here. And again, it's just a clicking and a drag. Well, in this, it's just a click. You can see they keep dropping down and opening up more and more. And we're just going to say it's this one because I don't want to click anymore. So there it is right there. You can see taking it out would be just as easy. Click the Save button. And I have a standard added to that one test. So if you're doing some benchmarking, something like that, you can add standards to each question there. You can also see that I could add standards to the entire test. So you have those options. So if we go on and continue to add questions, we can add another question to it, a true, false, a fill in the blank. The My Big Campus will grade your multiple choice, your multiple select, your true, false, and your fill in the blank. Your fill in the blank, I will warn you that it will grade it by spelling, but you have the option of going in and giving the child that credit if you don't count off for spelling. So that's nice. Now you see that I can't shuffle any of these questions or answers or randomly use them. That's because I'm just putting in specific questions. I can go in here and add a new question group. And I was thinking, why would you want to add question groups? But if you're an English teacher and this is your essay question and you don't want them all to have the same essay question, then you could come in here and say these are your essay questions. This could be your chapter 1, your chapter 2, or your section 1, section 2, section 3. And so you can do your different testing that way. I'm not going to finish this out. Now, I can see that I can shuffle my questions, shuffle answers. You want to be careful if you're doing multiple choice that you don't have any of the above, or all the above, none of the above, that type of thing. Also, what's nice is that I can grab just two. Say I put 5 questions in here. I can pick 2. What it would do, it would allow multiple versions of the same test because it would be random as far as how many of them they would get from each test. Also, with shuffling the questions and shuffling the answers, even if you give them all the questions, they won't have the same one pop up on their screen right next to each other. I'm going to go ahead and click Add here. It's going to ask me to fill in some questions here. There we go. And you can see now I have a completely different group here where we're going to add 2 questions. I want this to be an essay question, so I would say something about the main character. I like to use this and go on how many ever points I want to make it worth. Again, I can add anything here. I can attach anything here, click the Add button. And then I would come on and add more and more questions in here to complete my question bank. Another great use for this is if you want to give them, say, 2 or 3 questions that may be for bonus points, or if you want to test for learning and you say you're doing addition and subtraction and you want to see what they know about multiplication, you could do that. Or if you want if you're doing a math one and you want to do greater than and less than and you don't want to type that every time, you could say these are greater than and less than, use these symbols, and you could then just do fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank, and be able to do it. So you can do different things here with your question banks. Prior learning, extra points, essay questions. If you're using fill in the blank and you only want one description, anything like that you can do. I'm going to hit my Save button and jump on so that we don't waste too much time here, because I can get carried away in this, and we've got to get to groups. So I'm going to save this. Again, set my standards if I want to set standards. And then I can go to assignees. With assignees, I can look at my test before I want to do it. You can see our developers have a sense of humor. So I can go to add new assignees. I can add it to multiple groups at one time. So if I want to give it to my third period and my fourth period, I can give it to them, all my groups at one time. I don't need to give it to them. He'll say, are you sure? Yes. So I can give it to all my groups at one time. Your groups are just your classes. So you've got that option. Now I can set a start date, and if you click on it, it will just pop it up. So if I want to start this on Monday, I can set the time that I want it to start. I want it to start in the AM, probably not 5, but if you're doing multiple groups, you need to make sure that you've got the time set so that they can get the work done before the time runs out. Again, I would need to set it. Let's give them 2 days to do this. You can add a password in here if you want them to have to come to your room to get the password before they start the test. It can be password protected like Kia, or just leave it blank. You can allow for more than one submission if you want to. If you want to give them a second or a third chance on it, you can do that. You can allow for late submissions. That means it passed this time, but you still want them to turn it in. You can allow that. One thing that we've added that I think is pretty neat is a timer. If you're going to allow them a certain amount of time, say they're taking this at home or they're taking this in a computer lab somewhere where you're not, and you don't want them to have all the time in the world to go and look up answers, then you can put a time on here so they have to be a lot faster. It will say this is a time test, are you ready to begin? And the time will count down for them. You can set a threshold that if they don't make at least a 70, they have the option of going in and retaking it. Right now, they're working on getting that where it would automatically kick back to the student, but right now they don't have that completed yet. You can show results upon completion. I like to check that one so that the students can go in and see what they wrote on that essay question, see whatever they put in those fill in the blanks or what answer they chose on the multiple select. I usually do not put this one because I don't want them giving the correct answers to the next group. And then you can create a new discussion, which is your Blackboard feature if you want to. I usually do that if I'm giving them an assignment or a video I want them to watch. I will create a discussion board for that. You pick the ones that you want, how many ever you want, and then you hit the Save button. Before I do that, I want to show you one other feature. You hit the Save button, it pops out immediately to the students. They get a notification that you've assigned them something. It also goes into your group calendar. If I take out my groups here, say I've gone in, I've created a test, I've gone in and edited that test and made it test 2 or test 3, and I've modified it a little bit. I can go in here to my third period class again. Down here, after all my groups, you'll see users. So I can come in here. It's going to load my users. So now I could give it to the Merlene who missed my test, or Libby who needs the modified test. So you can see the different answers to them. It shows up within their My Big Campus notifications right here. If they have it set to email them notifications, it will email them notifications. They can even set it so that it texts them notifications. So they have all those options in their account information up here. But so I could give it to just one student, I can give it to several students, but that gives me the option of really making some individualized instruction here. And then I would just hit my Save button and it would go out to those students. They will see a notification right here, and this is my view right here. I click my Save button.